Celery is a vegetable that's way more popular than you'd think. It's actually quite unique in that its stalk is mostly water, 95% by weight, and it's only 10 calories. But there's a lot of nutrition in here for those 10 calories. One mere stalk provides 25% of our daily vitamin K requirement. It's also a good source of vitamin A, folate, and potassium. It's high in fiber, about 1 gram per stalk. We could all use that. Celery is cholesterol-free, has no trans fats, and is a good source of disease-fighting nutrients like antioxidants, phytonutrients, flavonoids, and electrolytes, all in less than 10 calories. It's a 100% farm-fresh, naturally grown vegetable. Nothing manufactured here. Food doesn't get more unprocessed than this.
Again and again.
You'll find it in a lot of things. You can cook it, boil, bake, or fry it, juice it, or simply snack on it raw. Celery is very common in omelets, casseroles, sauces, salads, and even cocktails.
Speaking of cocktails, the Bloody Mary was invented in the 1920s in Paris. And of course, it didn't have celery. 40 years later, a guest at a Chicago hotel was given a Bloody Mary, but the waiter forgot to stir it. The customer improvised with a stick of celery. It was delicious, and history was made.
So today's celery is different than what it used to be. I mean, one of the downsides that people did not like about celery, if they'd had an experience, either it was bitter or it was stringy. And so at DUDA, we've got 4 full-time PhDs and over 100 years of breeding experience just to tease out those 2 characteristics. But when you breed for crunchiness, you can kind of bury those strings so that when they're crunchy, they snap. And so it gives the impression that it's not stringy. So those 2 characteristics are crucial, and those are the ways that the celery business has changed, or the celery varieties have changed in the last, say, 20 years. And we're proud to be the leader in that category.
Celery makes an outstanding crunchy factor when dipping into dips, salsas, low carb, keto, you name it. Celery is the answer for anything that you want crunch and flavor added to. Often when you buy a head of celery, you may have some celery left over, and sometimes you throw it in the refrigerator and forget about it. You pull it out and it's got that limp, it doesn't look like you really want to enjoy it anymore. Still good for stocks and sauces. However, if you want that crunch factor to be retained, what I like to do is use whatever celery I'm doing. I like to keep it as fresh as possible, but taking that with a wet paper towel and just rolling the celery up in that and then keeping that in the refrigerator. It'll act as kind of a natural moisture provider as well as a filter, which will keep the celery crispy and crunchy for a few days longer in the refrigerator.
Most people think celery is celery is celery. It's all the same. But actually, it's not. Some celeries today are less stringy because they're more crunchy. They're sweeter by simply being less bitter, but still completely natural, and all harvested by hand. Humans have been planting celery for 3,000 years. It's one of the oldest vegetables on Earth and top 10 most popular vegetables.